Cinema Peeps.
Hello!
Hey Cinema Peeps, welcome back to another Talkie Tuesday. Hey Cinema Peeps!
Hey Cinema Peeps, welcome to another episode of Talkie Tuesday.
Man, I do really wish we caught that weird glitch on
I know.
camera, but oh well. That is like, you're like, damn, I miss all the times I should have recorded or took that picture, but oh well.
Oh well,
It'll
it's
just
in
be
the past.
A memory
Yeah, a memory.
just for us.
Yeah, but I mean, disclaimer for everybody watching. If you see some weird shit happening on our screens, we believe our setup here is haunted or possessed. So
Again.
tis the season, I guess.
Right? Tis that season. But hello, Cinema Peeps.
Hey everyone.
Welcome to the continuing of Spooky Month.
Spooky City.
Yeah, just before we were recording, we were just chatting, and my webcam like warped. I don't know how or
It
why.
went whack. Yeah.
It was weird.
Have you ever seen the movie Unfriended?
No, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. It reminded me of that, where it's like the whole movie's filmed like basically like this, where it's just like a video chat between friends.
Yeah.
And there's this weird extra person that keeps popping up into their video chat and trying to like, get them to play games and mess with them and do stuff, and it's led to believe it's like the dead spirit or the spirit of their dead friend who got murdered or killed herself or something like that happened. And so then there's all this stuff that happens, and it's like the spirit's trying to get revenge on all these people because in some way or another they're all connected to her death in some weird ways. So it's very spooky. Yeah, so it reminded me of that. So I was like, oh.
Just
who
wait
do we
for
know?
the-
It's
right.
trying to mess with us.
Who's messing with me?
Who's messing with me?
Just a random. If we know there's anyone trying to get into our chat, we're like, haha, denied.
Yeah,
No, thank you. Well, we were just, as we said, we promised we were going to watch more spooky movies.
Yep.
I also binged a lot of American Ninja Warrior because I'm behind.
Nice.
It aired its season finale last month, so really, I'm not that far.
Okay, well, it's not bad. That's not terrible. I mean, it's a lot to watch.
They are, what is it? 5 qualifying rounds, and their episodes are 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 finalist rounds of 2 hours. And then you have the 3-part Vegas night, which they're typically 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's a lot of content to watch.
A lot of American Ninja Warrior.
Yep.
But it's nice to have it in the background when I do Sudokus or other things.
Nice.
Other little works. But more importantly, we watched some spooky movies.
Hell yeah, we did.
We did it.
Woo woo.
So, Kendra, what did you watch?
Okay, I have a list. I had to write down all the movies that I saw.
Damn.
Actually, before we start though, I wanted to mention.
Oh.
So Facebook has the Facebook Memories thing.
Yes.
That pops up, right? So I'm assuming you probably got it too, but I got on our Facebook Memories yesterday that 11 years ago was when we did the Camera Obscura thing in cinematography, and so that reminded me because I'm pretty sure that was the day you and I officially met too, like with it, like when we were like commenting, like we struck up a conversation that day. So I was like, oh, 11 years ago yesterday was like the first day we met, so happy friendiversary.
Happy friendiversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? I was like, aw.
What a memory. Wow.
Right?
That was a weird class.
That was a weird class.
I was gonna say, I was talking about our cinematographer teacher yesterday and how he abandoned us to film Snow Buddies.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember. And we got stuck with his friend.
Yeah, who taught us nothing, and then he came back and was like, why don't you guys know these things? And we're like,
we're like, listen, the person you left us with, moron. He's dumb. He basically was like, hey, you're all gonna fail, which is really great to hear when you've sunk a bunch of money into tuition and you moved out here and you're like, oh, and then he goes, but you know what, if you come to my school,
and
you're like, I'm sorry, you doing an ad for your, I was like, this can't be legal.
You try to convert us.
I was like, this can't be legal. You can't be like promoting your stuff at our school. Like,
yeah, right.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, That was very cute.
Yeah.
That's a cute.
Yay.
I'll just see if I can dig up that picture. I'm sure.
I think I saved it. Hold on, let me bring it up quick. I got it right here.
Saved it.
Yeah, here it is. Of the model that we did.
Yes.
I don't know if I have the actual like camera obscura that we built, but this was the model that we were using as
I probably
subject
do.
for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You'll have to send it to me.
Oh, absolutely. As long as the other things I have to send to mentally send you links to things and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah. So, what horror movies did you watch?
Yes. So I started off with Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yay!
I did watch it. Yep. It was a wild ride, let me tell you.
I was gonna say, I'm interested to hear before as I'm interrupting you saying your opinion. I would love to hear your opinion.
Oh shit!
Especially
my computer.
Oh no, sorry, computer. Where's my thought? As someone who never played the games, I'm very interested to see what your perspective of it is.
Yes,
of the words,
the franchise.
Yeah.
Words.
Yeah, words.
Okay. Well, I have like a slight bit of like knowledge of at least the movies because I know like Mila Jovovich, is that how you pronounce her name? She was the main character of the like series that was prior to this. And I
believe. Sorry to interrupt you for like the second time.
No, all good.
Like, just keep interrupting you like a botch. I've never seen any of those movies, but to my knowledge, I think the first one is somewhat follows the games.
Okay.
And I think after that it kind of goes off the rails. But I think in the more recent ones they had characters come in from the games.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's very much its own kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recall hearing that. But obviously, the thing that sucked me into wanting to watch this was our wonderful and your husband, Robbie Amell.
Yes.
And it was surprised to see that Damien Dark was also in it too. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
Got some good old Arrowverse stars in there. But yeah, I just was interested to see. I'm not big on like the zombie kind of weird creature films. Like it depends. I can watch them, but I'm not like, I want to see this kind of.
Yeah.
It's not my go-to kind of movies, right? But I thought it was kind of fun. I thought the main characters were cool. I liked that whole thing. His Damien Dark's creature that he morphs into was hilarious. I thought that was so funny. And then just gave me like when like his face started like morphing into like the body of it. It gave me like Dead by Daylight vibes. That weird freaking killer that there's on there.
Oh, the twins.
Yeah, the twins. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was good enough to the point where I guess when it ended, I was left wanting to know more about it. But I was I guess because I don't know much about the universe or whatever. I don't know if maybe if you do know about it more, it might make more sense to people. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like in the middle of it. I'm not like it was an amazing movie, but I'm also like it sucked kind of thing, right? It's just in the middle. I enjoyed it. It was good. I had fun watching it, and but I also like would like to know more about like that whole world, I guess. Yeah,
I was gonna say one of my favorite shots is the kind of like, as they say, like the like not the notorious, but like one of like the shining moments, I guess, in the first game of Resident Evil, where they first walk into the mansion and they see like the first zombie.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, what's going on? Like, they're like, hey, sir, like, what's going on? And he does like that slow like face turn, like, whoo. Like, I thought that was like really well done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, the creep factor was definitely there in this. I definitely enjoyed all the creepy moments, and the set design was really cool too. Of course, I'm only going off of the set design I've seen from Dead by Daylight, who did the maps and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, like I can see the similarities in those maps that we've played on and stuff like that. But no, it was really like the world was really well done. I thought the eeriness was really cool, and
I remember like I genuinely was like when they were in the mansion and the light and I keep wanting to just call him Robbie Amell, but it's Chris Redfield's character, as the light kept shining off and you would just kind of see zombies like pop out. I was like, right? It was very well done, but I was like, whew. I just felt that was very stressful. That was
Yeah.
stressful. I was like, oh
Yeah.
god. Oh god. Because yeah, I would say I don't like zombies just creep me out. I've had too many nightmares of like hordes of zombies chasing me. Like I just no thank you. Like I don't. But I was like, for my husband, Robbie Amell, I will watch this film.
We'll push through.
What was my thought? In terms of like the game lore, and again, I say I'm familiar, but like I've personally never played any of the games, but I've watched enough gameplay of other people playing the game.
Yeah.
And so I have like a little bit of knowledge, but from my perspective, and again, I'm not a diehard fan, I think they did a good job of like representing like the essence of what the games are kind of like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's like this little nod to like the mansion puzzles where he's like playing on like the piano and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was about. Like they didn't really delve into that much.
Yeah, so so not only are they kind of like survivor games, they are heavily puzzle based games.
Yeah.
So I think there's even a shot, I think it's in the orphanage though, of like a heart-shaped lock. And that's a big thing in Resident Evil 2 is you have to find the correct keys for all the locks and stuff. So
right.
I think in terms of like adapting that, I thought that was a great job. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of puzzles and some of them are very convoluted. Like, though I think Silent Hill is a little more notorious for it, but Resident Evil puzzles are very hard. They don't like hold your hand. Like a lot of it is you have to explore and kind of figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
So again, maybe as a filmmaker, I like how they adapted that, but I know some people weren't super happy with it, but I don't know. I thought they picked, to me, the important bits.
Yeah.
And the lore of it is like very complex. And it's like, I don't know how you would. Because I think, and maybe I'm wrong on this one, but this movie kind of does both games 1, 2, and a little bit of 3.
Okay.
But definitely 1 and 2 for sure. And I guess to be fair, that is from like a creating of the film, that is a great choice to make because technically the first 2 games happened pretty simultaneously.
Okay.
So the first game is all about going into the mansion and first discovering the virus. And then game 2 is all about at the police station and with Chris and Claire trying to escape. And they technically within the timeline, they do happen very close to each other.
Okay.
So, like, some actions, like, influence other things in the game. But,
okay.
But yeah, I don't know. And again, I think majority of people didn't like it. But again, I feel like the games are so fucking complicated. But I feel like they pulled the essence of what made the games good into the movie.
For sure. I definitely think, like, hearing you talk about, like, kind of go into more detail about it, I'm just in the back of my head and picturing, I'm like, this could be a good, like, horror series if they had turned it into a TV series, because then you could do more of like, I know you said like the puzzles are complex, but even kind of add that, you know, I guess the best way I can put it is like national treasure aspect of it, where the puzzles kind of motivate going further into the story and stuff like that, and then it kind of gives you that action adventure along with the horror side of things,
right? What was I think I don't remember the title, so at the bottom there of the screen. I know they actually, I think it was this year, made a Resident Evil TV show on Netflix.
Oh.
And it was
yeah, that's right.
Something about, I think again, it was like about Raccoon, like something within those parameters.
Okay.
So I do wonder what that is about and how, again, how similar, or how not similar it is, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think even like if you don't know the games or, you know, or if you have a little bit of knowledge, I think the movie's a fun time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It definitely intrigued me. I was intrigued going into it and I was intrigued after watching it. So
I know, actually, sorry, just thinking, I know one of people's biggest complaint was from Leon's character.
Oh,
because he's not as big of a baby as he is in the game.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's the whole idea, again, like in the movie, they address it's like his first day of work.
Right, okay.
So I didn't quite understand that choice, but, you know, again, I was kind of just like, whatever, you made a choice. I don't really care.
Yeah, I liked at the end, though, when he, like, shows up with the frickin' bazooka. He's just like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he did it.
And I mean, I think you have to use a bazooka to kill the last boss in the game. So again, it's not like, what is this bazooka? Like, everything I feel like had a reason. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you got to watch it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm intrigued to know more about it, and now that
more.
Now that we've mentioned that there is, because now that you said it, I remember that there is a series on Netflix, so I'm kind of intrigued to check it out just to see if it like delves a little bit more into those kinds of things that we talked about.
I think there's two different. So there's the live action one, I believe, and there's another one that's an animated one with again Leon and Claire. And it's an animated TV series.
Okay, cool.
And I think it's supposed to be like events that happen after like the 4th game or something.
Neat.
But yeah, if you want more Resident Evil content, Netflix apparently.
Netflix, yeah,
is the way to go, I guess.
Awesome.
What was you had posted another movie you watched? Oh, you watched Sleepover. That's what you watched.
I did. Yes, I watched AKA A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes.
I think it's the same thing. I don't know what you're talking about. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Oh man, that's been your best guess yet. I laughed out loud, literally, when you did that. I was like, yes, that's great. That and then the Mary Poppins for the Witch. That was a good one too.
I'm just gonna keep bringing them, baby. I'm gonna keep bringing that good comedy.
Yep, do it. I love it. Yeah, so I watched that. I also watched. Okay, I'll rapid fire because there's a few of them, but I'll rapid fire the list, and then if there's one that you want to hear me talk more into detail about, I will.
All right.
But I will just start off with, I did watch the Winchesters, the pilot.
Ooh,
for the series. I'm gonna give it a chance.
Okay.
There's a few things that I'm still kind of like on the fence about, but I'm trying to separate my connection to the original series with this one, and on its own, if I didn't know anything about the previous show, it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
So I'm trying to like keep them separate so that I can like enjoy it and not just hate on it the entire time while I'm watching it. So I'm gonna give it a chance. We'll see. So that's my official review of the first episode.
Nice.
And then I watched on Netflix a movie called Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
I saw previews for that, yeah.
It's really good, based off a Stephen King short story. So you know it's gonna be good. It's awesome. And then I watched a movie called I See You. And then to finish it off, lightheartedly, I saw the trailer for Spirited on YouTube with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. So completely different season, but that was just what happened the other day. So I was like, I'll just add it into the list.
You're like, perfect.
Yeah.
And that's coming out on Apple Plus.
Yes, I did not realize that either. It will be in theaters, but it's going to be on TV Plus. Yeah,
on the TV Plus. But yeah, I think I saw it. I don't know, maybe last week or a week before that, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, baby, I think I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna give this a try. I think it'll be fun. Nice new Christmas edition. Like, why not?
Right.
But anyways, we're not here to talk about Christmas.
No.
We're talking about spooky, scary things.
Wait your turn, Christmas.
Wait your turn. Don't worry. You're going to have lots Christmas. We promise.
We promise.
But Matt, you watched a lot. I did. Very good.
Thank you. Yes, I watched a lot.
What was that? 7 things?
Yeah, I think it was. Yep.
Well, I did maybe a half of that. Not even. Well,
but that was good. From the Snapchats you sent me, you were on a roll. So I was like, nice.
I was on a roll. And I watched Fear Street, part 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh. Nice. I want to hear your opinion on it.
I was trying to remember like what you said last time about it. Because you only watched the first one, right?
I'd watched the first one and I tried to get through the second one, but I think I stopped halfway through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember because I know you said you didn't like it.
Yeah, I just wasn't on board for it.
Which is funny because I was so on board.
Were you?
Freaking loved it. I literally watched the first one and then I watched the second one immediately. I probably should have gone to bed, but I immediately wanted to watch the second one. And then literally the next day I watched part 3.
Wow.
I found them to be so much fun.
Really awesome. You know, I might have to try and give them I'll try and give them a shot. Maybe I just wasn't in like the right headspace for them at the time.
Yeah, jeez, Kendra. I'm kidding.
Jeez. But yes, I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you think.
So Fear Street, which I don't know if you knew this, but it got me even more intrigued because I was Googling, because I remember we had talked last time about like, oh, I don't remember the order, but luckily they do say part 1, part 2, part 3, even though they do like happen in different decades, they do let you know that. But I didn't realize they were stories based on R.L. Stine from Goosebumps.
Yes, I did know that.
I did not. So I thought that was very cool. So then immediately I was like, yeah, I gotta fucking watch this. Even though I hated Goosebumps growing up, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, this guy knows horror, so like, fuck yeah. But yeah, I guess Fear Street was like more like the adolescent teen version of Goosebumps. Where I guess like there is supernatural, like I vaguely read the Wikipedia page really quickly. Like they do have kids who kind of investigate supernatural things, but there is also just a lot of straight up murder. So again, making this into a slasher probably worked very nicely. But yeah, it's all about the story of Sunny Day and Sunnyvale, the two opposite towns. One that is always prospering and everything's great, and the other one that's just like murder capital of the fucking world. And who I was just hook, line, and sinker. I loved it. I just loved, there's a lot of things I loved. I loved the lore behind everything. Like I love the universe I like the mystery and like this idea of like every so often this random person goes insane and just kills a bunch of people, and like, oh, it's the witch Sarah, she possesses them and she has an evil grip on the town. And it's weird because even though like it's clearly not good for their town, they also have their mascot be a witch. Like in a weird way, they embrace it. At the same time, realizing like it's like they're in such a bad situation. But I think it's just one of those times where it's like, wow, we're in such a bad, like, what else do you do, you know, other than embrace this? And, you know, there's characters who are, you know, what are words? They're just very like kind of down in the dumps. Like they're just like, if you're born here, like, this is it, like, life sucks, and they like a very negative outlook on life. And there's some people who are like, no, I'm gonna get out of this shithole, and I am going to do whatever it takes to get out. But yeah, I just love the lore behind the towns. I loved how all the different serial killers and how they each had kind of have their own backstory. Like, I had such a great time. I just had such a great time. I will say, because I watched all 3. Was fantastic. Loved it. I did worry though by the end of movie 2, but by the time we got to 3, if kind of like this build up to like the mystery was going to be a bit of a letdown. I will admit I was a little nervous, but I very much enjoyed it. It was very good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it was a great time. I will say there was like a couple characters I feel just like weren't fully developed. You know? But again, like, I know the director said that she pulled a lot of inspiration from, like, slasher films. And again, as I've said multiple times in the podcast, I don't really watch horror movies. So, like, I don't know if that's also just kind of part of the cliche of, like, particularly, like, the slasher genre of, like, not having fully realized characters. But at the same time, there was characters that felt like they were a little more better developed than others at some points. And then there was a couple weird story things that happened where I was like, I feel like we just kind of watered down something from the books in a way. Because there's, without spoiling too much, there's this weird scene between the cop and this guy, this janitor who at the first murder scene, he goes to like prison. Or not prison, sorry. He goes to like the jailhouse at the town or whatever. Because they're like, oh, you graffitied the mall. And the cop was like da-da-da, and the guy's like, I didn't do it, and he's like, the cop is spray painting something, and he goes, well, these are my spray cans, and I was like, okay. And then in the 3rd movie it comes back, it was like, oh yeah, the cop did spray can the mall, and I was like, I don't understand this revelation at this point. It doesn't make sense with everything unless it's just to give this guy a motivation to like to continue with the story, I guess. Like, that was a little weird, and I was just like, I feel like this could have been something better. And yeah, there's a couple of the characters that were just like, you don't have a lot to you, so we're just gonna go with it, I guess. But man, it was gory. It was a gory fucking movie. I was glad though, because the second one happens so the first movie happens in 1994, and the second one happens in 1978 at a kids camp where a bunch of kids get murdered. I'm glad at least they had they were like, we're just gonna cut that out. Like they like cut to like black or like they cut to something else. You didn't have to see a kid getting murdered.
Yeah.
Because the first two people who got murdered in that other movie, I was like, oh my god. And then you had Maya Hawke there. I was like, they're just recycling Stranger Things characters. And they also had Sadie in the second movie.
Yeah.
And they were just like, hey, you're already doing Stranger Things. You're just gonna come do this.
Right?
Because you're obliged to do it, I guess.
Right.
You're just obliged to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were a hoot nanny. They were about like the level of scare I want.
Nice.
Definitely more gore. So again, if you're not into gore, maybe that's just not your thing.
Yeah.
I loved it. What was my other thought in my little brain cells? I remember you saying something about last time you weren't a fan of the dialogue. And it just reminded me of the one scene where everyone goes to Pound Town. It's just like the weird. I was like, okay, I get.
Yeah.
I get that it's like a cliche where it's like we're in danger, but then everyone's like, time to make out. And you're like, I don't know what the fuck,
right?
But like there was kind of like two couples that went on. Well, one couple. Other one was just kind of like first kiss, and then a guy by himself who was just feeling himself way too much in the bathroom.
Right?
I was like, okay, that's a thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were great. I would say I think the second one is a little bit better. Again, I know I was complaining about how some of the characters aren't fully realized. I feel like the second one did a better job of that, in my opinion, personally. I think I joined it the best, I think, out of all three. Although I did enjoy the third when they went back to witchy times, which I thought was really fun.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
which was
yes.
a lot of fun. I guess my other complaint in terms of the third one, it's hard to explain without spoiling too much about it, but I think I can do it. I think so.
All right.
So basically there's like this sequence where one of the characters kind of goes back in time to like 1666, kind of when the first settlement was there. So before there was the two towns, it was the settlement. They've moved in. They're trying to pioneer the land. And a lot of the characters are some that you've already seen from the two past movies.
Okay.
So they're there as characters in this like, back in time kind of thing. And what's kind of annoying is I think a lot of times when movies or TV shows use that, it's supposed to show a parallel between like these characters and maybe these characters from the past. Or again, maybe there is an important relation that you need to be like, oh, like this is this family kind of thing, da 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 da. But I feel like they used it for both of those things, which kind of made it a little confusing. Like it wasn't like, wow, I just don't get it, but I feel like they kind of used it for two, like those exact two things. Like one to like show like these are like characters that these are their like ancestors, but also ones where I think they're just supposed to parallel, and I don't think it matters if they look the same or not.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like that part I was kind of like, that's a little muddy, but like I'll excuse it.
Yeah.
Just because I think it was just an excuse again to reuse all these characters.
Right.
And you know what? Might as well, right? Like might as well. Yeah, and they have a big showdown at the end, which I don't think they needed to do it in like neon colors, but fuck it, like why not? It's the 90s, I guess. Like I can't think of really the purpose that serves other than that aesthetically looks very cool.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're facing monsters and undead serial killers, you want all the lights on, but sure.
Why not?
Let's go with that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe give it another watch, or maybe you'll just be like, nope, this is the exact same feelings. I hated it the first time, I hated it the second time. But like, I don't know. I really dug Fear Street. I thought they were fun.
Well, it's good. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. I will definitely I will try to go into it with a different perspective. I'll give it another chance. I think mainly at the time, I mean, Stranger Things still had just come out, and all of the people that are in Fear Street from Stranger Things, obviously you're still attached to their characters in Stranger Things, so it's kind of hard to see them as other characters, or at least you in some level of your brain you have expectations then, now that you've seen their performances in Stranger Things, right? And then I guess as far as like the dialogue goes, for me, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, but I just feel like there's some movies nowadays, more of like the young adult, teen, or some comedies, stuff in this realm, other than Stranger Things, at least, that I don't know what it is about the dialogue, but it's almost like they're trying to, or it's like they're trying to explain too much of the story through dialogue and less about just letting the characters kind of naturally converse with one another and like develop the character that way.
There's definitely a scene when they go to Sunnyvale. No, Sunny Day. Or I already forgot the names of the towns. They're both sunny, but one's the shadow town, one's the bright town. But they go there for a football game, and our character, which a nice twist, I'll say, where she is breaking up with her significant other, Sam, who you think is the guy, but it's actually the girl. That fight was a little weird to me, just because she was just, I felt she was just yelling at this poor girl, being like, "You moved away."
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay. And she's like, "You broke up with me." I feel like that could have gone maybe a little bit better, because I think, again, like as you're saying, like they're kind of explaining it too much.
Right? Yeah.
But I feel after that they did better.
Okay.
But especially that scene was a little weird. I was like, okay, I understand kind of what's happening. And I guess I was a teenager at one point, so I kind of get this, but at the same time it is a little weird.
Right? It's kind of like how I feel. I don't know if you noticed this too. It's how I feel about the latest seasons of The Flash too, where it's like the characters are there to explain the story more so than to be people in the story kind of thing. They're just kind of narrating the story rather than experiencing it, and I think that's what irks me a little bit about some movies and shows that are out nowadays, is like the dialogue's not created to develop the characters and bring them together or have some sort of like lesson or growth between them. It's just this character here knows things, and that their only turn to talk is to, go more into detail or describe or like carry on so that the audience knows what's happening, kind of thing, right? And it gets to be too much, and then it takes you out of the story, because if you just feel like you're standing in a room listening to a bunch of people talking about a story rather than actually like experiencing the story itself, being in the story. Yeah. I feel that, yeah. Yeah.
And again, maybe I'm giving this series a lot of passes because I'm not, as I said, I don't watch a lot of horror, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the tropes. So when they're either changing a formula or vice versa, where other people are like, I don't like this, and because it's my first time, I'm like, wow, I think this is fucking great. This is fantastic. Yeah. So I get that me going in, I'll definitely have like a different bias and a different like perspective of it.
But maybe that's the point too, right? Like there are a few people that I have heard say that they like it. It's a really, really good series. But maybe it is one of those things where it's like maybe it's for the people who aren't the diehard horror fans of other genres and stuff like that, right? Like it could just be one of those things for people who maybe don't like or enjoy, certain other horror movies and stuff, right?
Yeah, and this is a very easy, palpable thing to take.
Yeah.
Very easy, not too scary. Not too scary. Definitely more very violent.
Yeah.
Very violent. And what's my other thought? Oh yeah, and then Karen Gillian's in it. So like, why not? Community. Represent.
Right?
Represent. Which apparently, on a weird side note, I guess Community's finally getting its movie. Maybe.
Is it really? Oh.
I saw an article and they were like, finally! Movie! And I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
Again, it might just be like early talks of it. I didn't really feel like clicking the article because I didn't feel like and again, I made an assumption. That's bad on my part. But again, it's been kind of floating around for years. So like, that's why I was kind of like, I don't want to read something that basically is a recap of the last couple years of like
feed into the
let
clickbait.
down. Right? But I mean, either way, I'm happy that that's actually gonna happen. That's kind of fucking dope.
Right? Out of all the reboots and remakes that's happening, I'd be down to see some Jeff Winger and Mr. Chang and all, or Senior Chang and
Senior Chang.
All the gang again.
Right? But we shall see. Anyways, I think that'll do it for today's episode.
I think so.
Thank you so much for tuning into our Spooky Fest. We said we'd watch more, and we did it.
Yes, we did.
I think we're just gonna, I think there will be one more episode of spookiness before we'll slip right into Christmas before you know it.
You betcha.
I guess in terms of recommendations, I just recommend Fear Street because I watched it. So
nice.
I think it's a baller time.
Awesome.
Baller time.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to recommend another Netflix show, which is the Mr. Harrigan's Phone, because it surprised me in a pleasant way. It was equally spooky and tastefully spooky, I guess is the best way I can put it.
Tastefully.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Stephen King. And it was very eerie. It's not like jump scary, which is nice. It's just more suspenseful. So I think you'd probably enjoy it if you want to check it out. But I recommend that movie.
Nice. I think I'm going to try to watch the Haunted Baller, whatever it was called? The Haunting of Bel Air or whatever? No.
Oh, the Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah, I'm just going to mash up two different titles. I hope that makes sense.
Haunting of Bel Air.
The Haunting of Bel Air. Of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and the Haunted House. Yep. That's what it's going to be.
Now this is the story all about how.
Literally, he's just going to be like, this place is scary. I'm out.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of that meme I just saw a couple days ago where it's like, I may be white, but I'm not white as in let's go investigate that scary noise white. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
That's what I am. Oh, there's a spooky noise? Well, goodbye. See you later.
That's funny.
Hope you don't fucking die. Oh, man. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, consider giving us a like. And maybe subscribe to stay tuned for more of our spookiness this Halloween.
Yes.
And then very soon Christmas.
Yeah. I just checked. We have 64 subscribers. We're so close to 69.
Yes, 69. Wow, that was our worst chant ever. Nailed it. Also, leave us a comment if you've watched any of the things that we just mentioned, or again, any movie recommendations. Leave it at the comments down below.
You betcha. And if you enjoyed this episode, go back and rewatch some of our other episodes. We talk about all things, movies, books, games, you name it, TV shows. It's all there.
Everything. But yeah, until next time. See you later, Cinema Peeps. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey.
And
slay.